Welcome to my channel, A Book Forest. My name is Kim, and today I'm gonna be doing my March wrap up. So, in March, I didn't read that much. I was coming off of kind of a huge reading slump that started in October last year, and I think now it's okay. March was a good reading month for me. It was my Sanderson month basically, so I read Elantris. I read the short story Hope of Elantris, the novella The Emperor's Soul, and the novella Hellmouth by Giles Christian. And also I started Warbreaker by Brandon Sanderson. So the first book I finished was Elantris. Um, I get why people say it's not his best because it isn't, but I quite enjoyed it. I would say I give it 3 star. Um, Based on basically, I found that the world building was good, the magic system was really interesting and mysterious because it's not, um, I think, is very defined, very clear as, for example, Mistborn. Um, yeah, so the characters were nice. There were too many of them, especially the side characters. I felt like some of them were superfluous. He could have gone like merged a few of those together and have had less side stories, side characters. Like there was like the uncle of the princess. First of all, he's okay. If it's gonna be a trilogy, his backstory is interesting. We don't really know anything about him, Keen, but like he has 3 kids, and I think he could have just one doing all distinct functions, or maybe 2. My favorite um, thing about this was Elantris, the city of Elantris itself. Especially at the beginning, that place is horrifying. It had horror vibes for me at the beginning. They faded quite quickly, but yeah, so the Elantris, I wish we would spend more time in Elantris, and especially the first half. The second half, um, I don't know. It was a bit clunky. I would say that the resolution, the ending, even the relationships, like you feel like it's a first novel for sure. It had like all these things woven together, but they were not perfectly woven together. They were sometimes you like, okay, where are you getting at with this? Why is this character in there? um, but overall I enjoyed it. It's a fun ride, and the strength of this, I think, is the magic system. Also the city of Elantris, the setting, and I enjoyed the main characters, the 2 main characters, Raoden and Serene. Um, Serene is a quirky lady. She's kind of she has a short fuse, and she likes to be in control, and she thinks she's not that attractive to men. Probably is not true, but yeah, I liked her. I kind of see a bit of my younger self in her for sure. She's a know-it-all basically, and she likes to be right. She likes people to listen to her, and when they don't, she loses her patience and her temper, and yeah, she's great. And also Raoden, he's a natural leader, and I think it's very heavy on him. He's in a situation where it's everything sucks basically, but he gets like a positive attitude for everyone else. But inside, I'm not sure it's the case. So yeah, he was great. It's not the best. Um, the characters are not that deep, I would say, in this novel, but they're deep enough that I enjoyed it. So I will probably do a review. It will be a bit less confused, but I will do a review for Elantris. Next, I read The Hope of Elantris, which is in Arcanum Unbounded, and yeah, it's a sweet story. Like, definitely read Elantris first. The Hope of Elantris, it would be a major spoiler for Elantris if you did read it first. But yeah, it was sweet, very very short. So I'm not gonna go too long in that, but it's worth reading for sure. And then I read Hellmouth, which took me out a bit of the fantasy. It's more of a horror, I would say, a horror novella by Giles Christian. Yeah, I enjoyed that. I would give it 3 stars as well. I would have given it more stars, but it is written in the first, the present tense, third person but present tense, and that's not my favorite at all. I tend to prefer good old classic past tense third person. So it took me out a bit of the medieval setting. It's like Dark Ages type of setting, and to me, present tense was like, what? I don't like it. Otherwise, the story is great. The characters are really interesting. There are a lot of them, and for that short of a novella, I think it's about 60 something pages, you couldn't get into all the characters, but they are well defined. You do not feel like they're all the same. So it's about band of mercenaries, and they are not your jolly types. They are very violent. They are coarse. They enjoy not the finer things in life. Like, they enjoy good wine and prostitutes and just getting drunk and after their fights, basically, like just living through another day. I don't think they're thriving, and they are all on the bad side of the church. And the story starts with a big battle, and it's really good. It's well written, and then they go and get drunk, and so, and then they get sort of a cardinal or a higher up in the church goes to them, and he's like making them do a quest for him, and with this quest they will not be excommunicated anymore. So it's a big deal in this time, and if you're religious. So that's how it starts. I'm not gonna expand too much because it's very short, so I don't want to give spoilers. But the setting is really creepy. There's a creepy nun. There's a, dare I say, body horror a bit. Yeah, like gross things happening, and yeah, it's gross but enjoyable. So I enjoyed that one. It's worth reading. I would have. It's so short. I mean, yeah, get into it if you want to feel a bit of horror, a bit dark, and yeah, sure, go ahead. It makes me curious to read more by Giles Christian. I know he has like a Arthurian legends sort of a series started. If it's written in first person, present tense, I'm probably not gonna read it because it would drive me crazy for a longer novel. For short story novella, it's fine, but otherwise it would just get me out of the story too much. I'm too set in my ways. Like first person, you have to be really good for me to enjoy a first person. I do like some first person stories, but present tense, oh God, it's tough. Anyways, then I read the Emperor's Soul. That's a 5-star. It's really good. It's a novella. It's really short. I don't know how he packed so much in so little. Brandon Sanderson outdid himself with that one. There aren't too many characters. That's a good thing. And this magic system is so beautiful, poetic, literary. I don't know. It's just a thing of beauty. It's the seals, and it's kind of linked to the magic system in Elantris a little bit. I could see because it's on the same planet. Yeah, I saw a bit of the links, but not enough to be like, oh, it's just a ripoff of Elantris. Absolutely not. It's so original. He's really the best at this. I'm not like, oh, I'm team closed magic system, open magic system, or whatever you want to call it. Like, oh, it's a set of rules, or it's just whatever, we don't really know. I like both, as long as it's well done. And this was really well done. So The Emperor's Soul, I read it also in Arcanum Unbounded. Maybe I'll buy the copy because I really, really loved it. The main character, well, there's two main characters, I would say. But the main character is a forger, so she's kind of a con artist. And she's a prisoner, so she has to do what the people who have her prisoners, like they want something from her and she has to do it, otherwise she's toast. And that's how it starts. But oh my god, it was beautiful. I almost feel like he was like the journey that she goes on, and also like her nemesis, kind of like a frenemy. They have a relationship that builds, and you believe it, and they kind of don't like each other, but they also kind of like each other, not in a romantic way, but more of a father-daughter kind of thing. And basically she's always trying to like do what she has to do, but also weave something like, oh, I need to escape from here before I finish my task. And so she's always like one step ahead, but also one step behind. And you don't really know how she's gonna get out of this. Yeah, and all at the same time, she's building a masterpiece. Like, it's beautiful. Yeah, so that was a 5-star book of the month for me. I will read it again, for sure. Then I read, I started Warbreaker. So I was supposed to read this in March, and I have started it, but I'm not far enough along to talk about it too much. And also, I think I'll talk about it more in my April wrap-up. But yeah, Warbreaker, so far so good. That talking sword is kind of fun and creepy. So yeah, I enjoyed that. I hope I wasn't rambling too much. So this was my March experience, and I'm gonna say Brandon Sanderson kind of saved me from my reading slump. April is shaping up to be great as well, and hopefully I'll be able to talk about it a bit more next month. So thank you for watching. If you're watching, can hook me up with a thumbs up if you want. It might help with starting my channel. I'm not very old at this, so anything is appreciated. And have a great April, and I hope your March was great too. Bye bye.